we're going.
Wake up, Spencer.
Welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of the Flow Skate Podcast. I am Stinchy. With me is Spencer and Christopher Peterson Mason. Before I get into things, let's check in around with the boys. Spencer, we'll start with you. How are things up in Portland? How's the golf game? What's been going on?
Yeah, playing a little bit, but season's winding down. Rain's starting to come. Sun's out today, so I might try and sneak in 9 holes tomorrow, see if I can dust them off. But we're probably looking at the end of golf season here pretty soon.
That's wild, because other than really December and January here, you can pretty much play whenever.
I can play year-round.
Yeah,
good old Florida's for you.
Florida's even way more different than Texas.
Golf season is literally starting right now in Florida.
Yeah, that's like when we went to
nicest to be outside.
When we went to Arizona last year. That was like the guy at the one course was like, we're getting ready for our like big tourism season because everybody from fucking cold places goes and plays golf. So what are you gonna get into when it starts rainy and gets cold, Spencer?
Yeah, not really sure. I might try some of the indoor simulation golf places. There's a few that have been popping up around Portland, so I might hit up a couple of those.
You have to let me know how those are. Those are popping up around here all over the place too. I've just never. They charge so much.
I've heard good things.
But they charge as much as an actual golf round. That's the thing.
That is a little crazy.
You know what I mean? Like when you think about it. But, all right, well, glad we checked in with you. Mason, how are things down in Florida? I know you hang out with Ron DeSantis, don't you?
No, I definitely do not. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even hang out in Florida because he's probably afraid of everyone who lives here.
Most people are.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
How's Disney World? What's been going on?
It's pretty slow right now, but it sounds like they're trying to change a bunch of things back to the way they were pre-COVID. So a lot more flexibility, which means a lot more people should come, and they're also raising ticket prices. So,
how much? If I don't know you and I want to get a flash pass, how much for a day pass?
I don't know how much it's going to be on the new one, but like right now, normally it's between $125 and $150 per day.
That's nuts. I mean, that's $600 like a family if you have 2 kids. I mean, yeah, I guess that's true.
And that's not even that's not even with like the lightning lane stuff included. That's an extra $20 to $25 per person per day.
Yeah. It's like when I worked at the ski resort, these families of 6 people would come in and get lift tickets for 3 days, rentals for 3 days, and it's like $1,500 like just for 3 days.
Yeah,
so quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Just the tickets alone here are very expensive, and then you throw in all the extra stuff like the food, the souvenirs, and stuff like that. The hotels.
How's the golf game?
It's good. I played a few weeks ago for the first time in a while, and I played pretty well. My sand game was probably some of the best it's ever been.
See, I'm worried for the next time I play a course with sand, because a course that I'm going to be playing a lot just based on where it's located, it's a nice course, but their bunkers are under renovation right now, and they like just started the renovation process like a couple weeks ago. So that means like they're just mud, right? You know what I mean? Like they're it's going to be a while. So that's my last 2 scores are 86s, but that's 86s with not having to play out of bunkers. But the last round I was only in, I only pulled twice. So a little skewed, but I don't make the rules. I just play the course.
Yeah, you got to play the local rules.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so until they get the bunkers done, they did it at another course I really like in the same area, and it took them a really long time. But now I actually don't mind being in the bunkers now there when I'm in, because it's like super nice, like white sand, nice and smooth. So hopefully that's what this course is doing. But I'm swinging pretty well. Glad you guys asked me. Fuck you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no one cares.
Also had 8 goals in my roller hockey game last night.
How are things in Texas, Sawyer?
Like I just said, they're pretty good. I had 8 goals in my roller hockey game last night. We won 11-6. So I had 8 of the 11. Really put one on. Really put the boys on my back last night. Had a nice 12-ounce sirloin, potatoes, chili from Texas Roadhouse, and a bunch of cinnamon rolls before. So that was. I was just fueled by Texas Roadhouse last night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
an unbelievable performance by your boy.
My God.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Let's get straight into things. Before we get into our predictions, I want to talk about just the miscellaneous hockey thing. So we got some signings to talk about, and then we have a few other things to talk about as well. First and foremost, shout out to Barry Melrose. He is going to be going through a Parkinson's battle here, and it's tough because we all probably know somebody affected by that, and it's a tough thing to go through. And he's a hockey legend, so we don't want to harp too much on the bad things. But Barry's a tough son of a bitch, so he will, he'll fight it as best he can. So we're Barry.
What 30? I think 30 years involved in professional hockey. That's nuts.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's a legend, absolute legend. So the
he's basically the face of ESPN too.
Yeah.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. Mason, you want to do a quick little research on that on your phone there? You're on your phone, you fucking clown. Don't you dare try to exit out of this fucking chat, you son of a bitch. Don't you do it. We'll look that up later. But yeah, the flow skate is with Barry, so shout out to Barry.
If he's not, he should be.
Yeah, and then just a little bit of more sad news. We do want to say rest in peace to Chris Snow, the Calgary assistant general manager who lost his battle with ALS and who fought really, really hard for a lot of years and was very, very noble in sharing his fight pretty much every day online and with the world. A lot of people like to keep that private, and that's their right. But he wanted to take it the other way and really make it known and try to do as much as he could, and he did a lot. So thoughts and prayers and condolences to the Chris Snow family and the Calgary organization for that loss. But moving into some better news, Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power have signed. Buffalo has locked up their back end for the next 7 years at least. Rasmus Dahlin got paid 8 years, $88 million, $11 million at the cap hit. That's a lot of bananas. And then Owen Power, 7 years. 7 years for Owen Power, $58.45 million total, $8.35 million cap hit, as Michael Scott would say. That's a lot of guacamole. So Buffalo's locked up their 2 guys. I can't. Here's the thing, though. That's a lot of skill. They're gonna have to find some back end boys that can fucking put some mustard on guys and meat and potatoes.
Those will be easier to find because those will be cheaper.
And they still have Alex Tuck, at least up front. He's a big boy.
Yeah, so we'll get into the playoffs later. But I was going through their roster earlier. There's not a lot. They need a lot of meat and potatoes. They need a.
They can go get it.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, that's what we're going to see them move into. I think both these guys deserve the money that they got. There's no way you're getting Rasmus Dahlin at any cheaper than $11 million.
He would have. Yeah, I was going to say he would have been offered that anywhere.
And I would say with the potential that Owen Power has, the 8.35 right now is a number that could get restructured in the future if he starts being the player that everyone thinks he's going to be, because that's a steal. Because he's a very high draft pick and is supposed to be right up there with Rasmus Dahlin. So when you think about a $3 million difference, that could get restructured here in 3 or 4 years, and he could be getting a little bit more. I'm an idiot, so I'm not sure how that works, but I could see that happening. Do you think fair contracts, both of you guys? Fair contracts for both those guys?
What was the term on Powers?
Powers is 7 years, 58.45. 8.35 cap hit per year.
I think that's going to end up being a bargain.
That's
I
what I'm
think right
saying.
now, I think right now he earns that, but I think, in 8 years or whatever, that's going to look real good, him making that amount of money. So I think that's a real good deal there for both. I mean, the kid's going to make his money. I mean, he's going to get a ticket after this one. So I don't think he was really maybe worried about the dollar amount. He's probably worried about the term because Buffalo's doing the right thing. They're moving in the right direction. They're a few pieces here and there from being a very, very legit Stanley Cup contender. So I don't think he wants to go anywhere right away.
No, they are on a
And Dahlin's sick. So
yeah, Mason, what do you think? Fair contracts?
I think so, because I think Darlene would have gotten that much or more anywhere else.
Oh God, yes. Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
he took a second though. He came into the league pretty highly
took a
touted. It was
second.
just quiet. Yeah,
He
he
did-
was
but
everyone kind of
Because
thought
he
he was
plays
a
in
bust, but
Buffalo.
He
Because
never,
he
and he
plays in
never
Buffalo.
Buffalo believed.
and he was never in the AHL. He never played a game in the he came up and he was there right from the beginning.
That's what I mean.
So
Buffalo
there's
said, "Screw
that.
everybody else. This is our dude."
Yeah,
Which is what you need to do when you draft someone of that caliber. You need to get them just in games, even if the games are shitty games when your team is not good, which is how Winnipeg is drafted.
Absolutely. To everybody's surprise, the Winnipeg Jets came out of nowhere when everyone thought they were going to be big sellers right from the start, and they signed Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck to identical contracts. And when I say identical, I mean absolutely identical. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't really think. Now that we do the podcast, I pay a lot more attention to caps and numbers and contracts. I've never seen an identical contract. They both signed 7 years, $59.5 million total, $8.5 million apiece cap hit per year. Identical contracts. Everyone thought Hellebuck would 100% be gone. And with Mark Scheifele's attitude and some of the things he said last year, everyone thought he would also eventually be gone as well. There's still a chance they could trade Scheifele, but I don't know why you would sign any of those two to a 7-year deal if trading them is a possibility. What do you boys think?
I think they deserve those contracts. I was just surprised by it because, so they're pretty much signing on for the rebuild, which I feel like both of those guys want to make a run in a cup in those 7-8 years, and they're not going to do it in Winnipeg. So I thought it was strange that both those guys that they would sign. Yeah, Winnipeg wants to sign them for sure. I'm more surprised that they would sign the tickets.
I never thought about it that way. That's a very interesting take. Yeah. What the fuck are those two doing? Mason, what the fuck?
Riding into the sunset riding into the sunset, I guess.
I was gonna say, yeah, the dollar signs sometimes are depending on the player. If you're comfortable where you're at and don't care, or maybe they truly do think they're in a good enough rebuild to where they can do something, but
they're so bad.
We'll get into that. I was going to
It's probably not happening, but I'm saying
they're so bad.
We'll get into that.
Whoever's in the Winnipeg back office is a really good salesman.
Yeah. He's great. So yeah, geez. How agents though? I guess yeah. You gotta think their agents were pushing that too. So they must have really wanted to be there, because you would have think there would have been options. But moving right along, there are a few guys that are right now jacked up on FNX Fit supplements. Code FLOWSKATE gets you 15% off everything FNX Fit. FNXFit.com, FNX.com. Go to their Instagram, give them a follow, order some products, and use code FLOWSKATE, again, for 15% off. But there are a couple guys in the league right now absolutely jacked up on some FNX products. One of them being the other night, and I really, just because of the new rivalry with Dallas, don't like giving Vegas a lot of props, but Chandler Stevenson is fucking buzzing. He was all over the ice.
All over the place.
He's fucking buzzing. In a very good way. Vegas looks tough. We'll get into our Stanley Cup predictions that we Spencer fucking screenshotted the other day, so no one has an out. But Vegas looks like they are going to be a tough through for anybody, regardless of who you are or how much skill you have. And the other guy you guys may have a couple other guys that are jacked up on FNX right now. Austin Matthews comes out fucking guns blazing, hat trick right out of the gate. So he was definitely hitting the fucking protein in the pre-workout before that game. Who else? Am I missing somebody?
Besser had 4 goals last night.
Oh, gee, how the fuck though? Stay hot, didn't you? Fucking miss.
Yeah.
You fucking missed the guy that had fucking 4 goals.
I mean, it was 8-1, but yeah, he had 4 goals last night. But the thing about Matthews, he just makes it look so easy. Those goals just like effortless.
He's fluid.
The goalie's out in the corner, and then he just like tucks it in the far corner. It's just like, golly.
Yeah, the puck comes off his stick, like you said. It looks effortlessly. Brock Besser took every FNX product that they make, and he put it in a shaker cup, and he shook it up, and he drank it, and he said, "Let's fucking go, baby." And he, like you said, came out with 4 fucking goals. Stay hot. I can't believe I forgot he had 4. And forgot him in general. But Chandler Stevenson, Austin Matthews, Brock Besser, Mason. Are we forgetting anybody? Are those pretty much the main 3 that came out of the gate jacked up on FNX?
I would say those are probably the main 3 this time. I can't really think of anyone who had a super good game. I would say maybe like honorable mention to Milan Lucic for getting a point in his first game back as a Bruin. He actually looked pretty good that night.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it again. Code FlowSkate 15% off. Connor Bedard. We were texting about him the first game. Spencer, you said he looked shaky. I just thought he looked like he was. I thought he looked like he was almost told take it slow. Like let the pace of the game kind of come to you. Like don't take anything too fast because he was finding areas and he was moving the puck up ice. But he did look like he wasn't shoot. He had a lot of opportunities to shoot the puck that first period, like his shot, like the shot he has, and he didn't. But
so the reason I said that is, I mean, I bet you in his entire career he's never tripped over.
You said he's gonna suck.
He's never. No, I did not. He's never tripped over his own feet twice in one shift in his entire career.
Did you watch the warm up
on a power play?
Well, did you watch the warm up? When him and the other rookie, he missed. Okay, so he missed the first puck, then grabbed the second one, and then whiffed on the pass. Over, he like whiffed.
That's what I mean. So there was just some nerves. He settled in, and he ended up looking good. But that first period, you could tell he was young. That's all I was saying is he just looked nervous, and you could see it. But I would be puking, and it'd be so bad.
Well, he came out the second game, shoved the nervous take right up your hoop, and had a very, very nice, beautiful wraparound goal against Boston. Against Boston, who was pretty. A really good team. So, and that's good on him too. He's got 2 points in 2 games. He's a point per game player, and his first 2 games were against Pittsburgh and Boston. I mean, what the fuck else do you? Yeah, I mean, he's going to be
on the road too. Not even he's going to be on the road at that age. Yeah, he's the real deal. I think he's got to stay healthy. He looks tiny out there. So he's got to put on some weight and get in the weight room.
I don't think that matters anymore because Washington just signed that. They just signed that guy who's 5'7", 140. So it's just
you don't think so, but again, who just won the cup? A big old bruiser of a Vegas team.
Yeah, I get it. But United Center is going to be fucking buzzing. Mason's having an old fashioned. This is his new thing, and I'm absolutely okay with it. I'm so okay with it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. United Center is going to be buzzing. Real quick, before we get into Connor Bedard is going to be a great fucking player.
I think Fantilli starts tonight. I'm excited to watch that kid too. So,
yeah. Is Kent Johnson? Is he going to be on the main roster for Columbus? Because he's fucking nasty.
We'll see.
Do we know?
Why not?
Okay, pay attention. I got a coach tonight, so if you're watching that game tonight, if you pay attention and let me know if Kent Johnson's playing. I'm interested to see if he cracked the squad or if they're going to give him his 9 games because he's fucking dirty. And he played in that roller league with Bedard's team over the summer. But
I would assume he'd get his 9 games at least.
Yeah,
I wouldn't see why not.
Last thing, Derek Stepan has retired from the NHL. A guy that I think all 3 of us have pretty much watched since he came into the NHL. He had some really, really good runs with the Rangers and was a really big contributor to their Cup run when they lost to LA on the classic Alec Martinez goal. Fuck you, Stu. I just wanted to say fuck you, Stu. I don't even have a problem with LA. But Derek Stepan, congratulations on a fantastic career. Got paid, made some money. Was with Carolina last year, and yeah, just decided it's time. So good on you. Enjoy retirement from the Flowscape podcast. Moving right along. Let's get into our predictions for playoffs and the Stanley Cup winners, just because predictions are for schmucks, and if you don't do them, everybody fucking does them. All right, so let's do our predictions. Do we start with East or West? Let's start with West. Everybody starts with the East. Let's start with the fucking West.
The West is better this year, so we might as well.
Let's start with the West. And let's start specifically. Let's throw a real curveball here and go Pacific, because it's going to lead me into a segment here. So for Spencer, who do you have in the Pacific in? What 4 teams out of the Pacific do you have in?
So the 3 teams I have in for sure are Vegas, Edmonton, and LA. I think those teams are just so strong. So strong. LA retooled on the fly, and they're ready to go again. I think their goaltending is incredibly suspect, but I think through center, Anze Kopitar is the best two-way center in the league now with Bergeron gone. As far as who might sneak in out of there, I've got Seattle, maybe Calgary. I think Vancouver could put it together. But Seattle probably takes the wild card from the Pacific, I think. But that division is absolutely stacked this year after being absolutely terrible last year.
So you have Calgary, Anaheim, San Jose, and Vancouver out.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right.
That sounds right.
All right, Mason. What's your Pacific division looking like?
It's actually pretty much the same as Spencer. And I think kind of what he was saying, LA is probably the team that's scary good to make a cup run that's sneaky, because I think everyone's going to talk about Edmonton and Vegas. Vegas will probably go the furthest, because Edmonton, I still think they're going to choke this year. So they'll make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, look at their goaltending. They just put their goalie back in last night. They were getting beat so bad.
So this is where I kind of disagree with you guys. I have the same 4 teams in, but I've got them ranked a little bit differently. I've got Vegas, as the top dog in the Pacific. I've got LA. When I was looking at LA's roster, I was like, holy shit, this team is actually really fucking good. They are so deep at forward.
They did a really sneaky.
Yeah, even with losing Iafallo, they're really deep at forward, and even with losing Dursey on the back end, they're still really deep there too. I think based on if Seattle plays the way they didn't win, but if they played with the tenacity that they played the first night, they're 100% going to be in the playoffs, because that's going to be a hard pace for teams to keep up with. But we'll see if they can keep up with it. My asterisk is fucking Edmonton. And the reason being is you can't have all these expectations on you. You can't have the best player in the world. You can't arguably have the second, if not arguably the third best player in the world in Draisaitl, and come out game 1 and get fucking pillaged like they did. I mean, that was 8 fucking goals right out of the gate. So right out of the gate, I am putting them in the polar recovery cold plunge, because they're fucking cold, and they've got to turn it around immediately. They can't lose 2 games in a row. I really don't think they can, and I'm not saying that's going to knock them out of the playoffs when it's an 82-game season, 2 games. What I'm saying is that does nothing for your team's morale. With just how much stress and how much pressure is already coming along with playing in the Canadian market, coming out and getting shelled fucking for the first game, and then continuing to not be able to put it together could cause a lot of fucking problems. And that's going to cause mass panic in that city. So they're my asterisk team, because if they figure it out, they could be the team in the Pacific that takes down Vegas or takes the Pacific title away from Vegas. But if they don't figure it out, they're going to be that team where a team like Calgary could fucking come out of nowhere and knock them out. But as of right now, I have them in, and I've got Calgary, Anaheim, San Jose, and Vancouver out as well. Calgary's just, I looked at their roster, just did not impress me, and just Vancouver's just not there yet. And we know what we're getting with Anaheim and San Jose. So, moving into the Central, we'll go to you, Mason, first. In the Central, who do you have in?
Colorado, probably first in the Central, for obvious reasons. McKinnon's going to put the team on his back again. Makar's going to be nasty, most likely. And then, who would I put number 2?
Just give me your 4, you fucker.
Okay. I think Dallas is in. I think
Just spit it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, Junior.
Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota.
I do think Nashville gets in. I thought Nashville was actually pretty impressive the other night because they looked really bad
Spencer,
at first.
This is where I had problems. Back. I agree. We'll get into it. This is where I had problems coming up with my 4 team. But Mason's got Nashville. I'm not totally against that. I am totally against the hardest right now.
But they were the hardest pick. But the other night when they kind of fought back, that early grit, that shows me that they're at least going to be a team that fights. Whether or not they can keep fighting all season, that's yet to be seen.
Well, and it's just something about Brunette. I really like him as a coach. I think don't. I think I'm not saying I want Nashville to be good just because, but when Dallas and Nashville had a great playoff series. Yeah, that's a great, and the outdoor game, that was a great rivalry when Nashville was good. So, yeah.
When Nashville's good, it's good for the sport, I think.
So you have Winnipeg, St. Louis, Chicago, and Arizona, out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Spencer, in the Central, who do you have in? Who do you have out? I know you don't have Nashville in based on previous statements already, but go ahead.
So I've got Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota in. And honestly, I think that's it. I think both wild cards go to the Pacific Division.
Really?
Yeah.
If you had to pick a 4th, who would you pick?
If you had to pick a 4th from the Central out of all the Central teams, who is it?
Probably Winnipeg.
Ew. Sorry, Jesse. They just
seem to play. I don't know. They just seem to kind of every year for whatever reason they make the playoffs no matter what, even if they're really bad. So I don't know. If I have to pick one, I'd probably pick them. But honestly, I think both wild cards are from the Pacific this year.
So and out of my love for Jesse from Bar Down, as the hard time I had having with this is, so you have this. It's the same for you, Spencer. The same for me: Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota, and then I picked a 4th. I went Nashville over Winnipeg, and reason being is I pulled up their rosters and I put them side by side, and Nashville, there was a little bit of friction in my pants. I'm not going to say it was a full hard on, but there was a slight bit of friction. When I looked at Winnipeg's roster, it put me in a sense of being in Winnipeg in the dead of winter, and my penis went back inside of myself. And that is the feeling that I went with. Again, I love you, Jesse, but I had to go Nashville. I just don't think Winnipeg is there yet. Even with the re-signing, I think it is going to boost morale a little bit. I just don't think they have the team to really compete in that division right now. And again, it's a hard place to be in the winter when things aren't going well. And if things aren't going well, we all know how that can go for teams that are in, places considered to be not like hotbeds as far as fun goes. So we'll see. I would like to go to Winnipeg one day. I always think about Cool Runnings when they get off are they in Calgary or Winnipeg when they get off the bus in Cool Runnings?
Calgary.
It is Calgary. Dang. All right. Well, stay hot against, didn't you? I fucked that one up. But that was my dilemma. Out, we all have. Spencer even has Nashville out. It's fucking wild. Spencer has 5 teams out in the Central. Winnipeg, St. Louis, Chicago, and Houston. I'm sorry, I correct myself. I mean Arizona. They're going to Houston, right? They put the fucking ice. They're putting the ice generator in the Toyota Center. Like,
I mean, if not, we're looking at another expansion.
Yeah, where else are they going? And if anything, they will have they will bring the Arrows back for an AHL team, if anything.
Yeah, they need to bring back the old jerseys too.
Yeah, they did for their youth team. I told you that the other day. Their youth programs they shelled my select team last weekend. It was not great.
But I like to hear.
Yeah, fuck you. But they brought back the old Arrows uniforms. Look pretty good. All right, let's move into the Metro. Spencer, we will flip back to you. Who do you have in for the Metro? Who do you have out?
I've got Carolina, New Jersey, and the Rangers in. And probably Pittsburgh. I think they'd probably sneak in. I think they looked pretty good. I think they'll probably get in. I think there's a chance.
Yo, wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I think they get in, but that's what I'm going with. Those are my 4.
Okay, so okay. All right. So who do you have out? You've got Washington, Philadelphia, Columbus, and the Islanders out.
I think Columbus could maybe bump Pittsburgh.
You are out of your fucking mind. Are you high? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude, Columbus is going to be good. They got Babcock out of there.
The 2 teams that you're going to put in, okay, all right.
They're currently losing 2-1. In case you wanted to know,
that's knucking fucks that you
Philly.
Don't to who him. To who you?
Philly's going to be so bad. Torts is just going to run them out of steam.
They're losing to them.
It's the first game of the year. It's game 1 of 82.
We're basing every prediction on the first game of the season.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. Yeah. Let's all over exaggerate right now. That's the fun of podcasting. Mason, who do you have in and out for the Who do you have in for the Metro?
All right, in are the same 3 as Spencer. I actually have Carolina going all the way this year, but my dark horse 4th pick, you already know who it's going to be. The Washington Capitals.
It's so stupid. That's just as fucking dumb as Spencer.
On his back. I'm delusional, but just wait till it happens. He's going to score 50 goals this year. Watch.
That's just as fucking dumb as Spencer's fucking take.
Well, we have to have 2 crazy takes.
You have to have a team.
Now you give us your sound take, Sawyer.
All right, here's my sound take. All right, so Mason, you had Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Columbus, and the Islanders out.
Yes, and I have Pittsburgh out, mostly out of spite.
Yeah, we know that.
But they're old like the Caps too. They're an injury away from having a crummy season. So
all right,
that's how the Caps are too. But Ovechkin's putting the team on his back. They're gonna sneak into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Fuck that. Absolutely not. You guys are
8th seed.
Out of your minds. All right, in the Metro, I've got Carolina. I've got New Jersey. I've got the Rangers, and I have the motherfucking New York Islanders over Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, and Columbus. That Islanders roster is low-key fucking stacked. They are really deep at forward, and they've got some guys that we've forgotten about. Bo Horvat.
They bore me.
No. I think this could be the year they don't bore anybody, and they do a lot of fun things. I've got the Islanders in, and I think you 2 are fucked on your take on the what Pittsburgh. They did not look good against Chicago. They did not look good against Chicago, and Washington is. Let's just get Ovi the fucking record, and let's just call it what it is. Okay, let's just do it. All right, we don't need to worry about anything else but getting Ovi the scoring record. They don't need to worry about playoffs. They have one number in mind, and that's 73. 73 Genos for Ovi, and we can fucking celebrate and get hammered and move on from you thinking Washington has a goddamn chance. Okay, both you 2 are nuts.
When he scores, they win. when he doesn't score, they don't win. So if he puts up 50, that's a potential for them to win 40 games out of those 50.
I think Pittsburgh and Washington will be a lot closer to reaching the playoffs this year than Philadelphia and Columbus do, but I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be 8 to 10 points away from the New York Islanders when it's all said and done.
I hope the Penguins and Capitals play late in the season for whoever gets the last spot. That would be a great rivalry game.
What rivalry? Spencer was calling me silly. I had to call him silly back. What'd you say?
The Penguins and Capitals. I hope they have a game late in the season that determines who gets the last seed.
It's going to determine who gets a higher fucking draft pick, and that's just going to be all boring as hell. But that's just that's what it is. Okay, you guys are nuts. Moving on to the Atlantic, we'll start with me. We'll start with me here. Let's kick it over to myself. In the Atlantic, I've got Toronto, I've got Boston, I've got Tampa Bay, and dum drum roll. I have the fucking Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs this year, and I've got Florida, Montreal, Ottawa, and Detroit out. Florida, I think they're going to be shit. I really do. I don't think that trade is, in the long run, going to work out for them as well as they thought. Now, I know Tkachuk had to leave. Like, he wanted to get out. Like, that wasn't a situation he wanted to be in. He didn't want to play there anymore. That's different. I just don't think what they gave up compared to... Yeah, I mean, I know they made it to the Cup final. Like, I'm not forgetting they made it to the Cup final, but they weren't supposed to get there. So we'll see. But as of right now, I have them out. I have Buffalo in. And I was looking at Buffalo's roster. Do you guys know who Matt Savoy is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's on there. I think he's at least gonna get his 9 games. I don't know if he's gonna be full time. He's fucking nasty. When Bedard was playing AAA, it was like him and Savoy. It was like anytime they played against each other, it was like packed crowds. People wanted to see, and he was just as competitive, almost just as competitive in juniors as Bedard was. He's fucking filthy. And I totally forgot Buffalo had them, so I went through their roster. I think I've got them in. The crazy thing to me about this division is anybody you put out is going to be Montreal shit. We know that. But Ottawa, Detroit are all on the rise, and Florida made it to the Cup final, so it's hard to keep anybody out. But I have Buffalo in. So we'll go to Mason first on this. What do you think about that? And who do you have in?
So I have the same top 3 in. I think my order is probably Toronto, Tampa, then Boston. But I do have Florida in. Even though they're not going to make the Cup final, I still think they get into the playoffs. I still think they're good enough. I think the nice thing about Florida is it's a low-pressure situation for the players. When you have low expectations, you get to just have fun, and I feel like that's one of the things.
But they don't have low expectations, do they? I mean, they made it to the. I guess, yeah. You're right. I sound like a hypocrite. I have them out of the playoffs, so that's pretty low expectations, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, like I feel like everyone sees the name Florida Panthers, and they're like, "Oh, that's the team that has a half-filled stadium every game," and then they're like, "Well, who would want to play there?" But I feel like when you do play there, you have low expectations. You're still getting paid. You're still in the NHL. You still get to go on sweet road trips, play against other good teams, and you still have a chance to win the Stanley Cup just the same as everyone else. So
who do you have in?
Who do I have in? Florida.
Yeah. So Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think Boston's going to be.
I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It is kind of a but picking Buffalo is the fun reach. I just think. I think they could get to sneak into the playoffs this year. But I would say most people probably agree with you. Maybe not, because like you said, low expectations. I know quite a few people don't have Floridians, but let's double check this.
With your Buffalo pick too, you also have to weigh how are the 2 players that just got paid. How are they going to play? Are they going to sit back and enjoy the purse that they just got, or are they going to actually keep playing at the pace that they were to earn that money?
True. Well, let's double check the Buffalo's theory. Spencer, who do you have in?
So I have for sure in Tampa and Toronto. I think they run away with that Atlantic.
He's
I don't even
he
think
is killing me
I
with
don't
these.
even
I
think it's
have these for
close.
sure's. You're killing me with these for
I
sure's.
just think
Little
it's I
wishy-washy
mean,
Spencer over there.
but after that, I had a really hard time picking a third team because I think Florida, Boston, and Buffalo can all take it. It's a matter of who shows up for those teams. If Spencer Knight can come in and play 30 games and take the pressure off of Bobrovsky, and Ekblad doesn't miss the entire season, Florida is a really good team. But they have to have those two guys step up, in my opinion. Boston, for me, it comes down to Charlie Coyle. If he can step up and be the guy they need him to be, Boston will be good. But they are missing Krejci and they are missing Bergeron, which are two massive, massive defensive holes. So they've got to figure that out. Pasta's going to score his goals. Marchand's going to score his goals, and he's going to be a pest. But can they keep the puck out of their own net? I don't know right now. So that's my question there. They're going to be good. I don't think they're going to drop off maybe as much as I think. I mean, they're not going to have a record-setting season. I'll say that.
No, absolutely
for
not.
sure.
Absolutely not.
I think they might sneak into that third place. For Buffalo, I think they're just going to be fun to watch. It's goaltending for them. If Devin, what is it, Devin Levi?
Devon Levi, yeah.
If he can come in and be the guy, they probably can get in. If Patrick Kane ends up in Buffalo, they probably get in. But there's just a few question marks for me in that third spot. But I probably lean towards Boston.
If you had to pick a fourth in, who's in?
Buffalo.
I
think Ekblad injury, and I think Spencer Knight doesn't show up. But those are my two questions in Florida. If they do, then it could be a different situation.
Yeah. All right, quickly, Stanley Cup predictions. We screenshotted it, but let's give it to the people. I went with the homer pick and my Dallas Stars. Even with Hintz being out first, there's so many guys out too already after practice. Like, there's so many practice injuries right now. It's crazy. Like, high profile guys, like missing the first few games because people don't want to rush injuries, which is crazy right out of the gate. But even with that, I just looking at Dallas. I just think that this is just with the pushes we've been making. I think if we add a couple pieces before and at the deadline, especially towards the back end, as far as not just size, because we have size, but grit. We need a guy the size of Hakanpää, but who will fucking snap somebody's head off, like McNabb and Holden will. For Vegas. So if we can figure a couple of pieces out like that, we have the offense and we have the goaltending and we have our we have our one stud defenseman. So that's my pick. I'm going with Dallas. If I had to pick another team that's not Dallas, just unbiased, completely going with another team, I do think Toronto might do it. God damn it! I'm so sorry to say that, but my screenshotted pick is Dallas. That is who I think is going to win the Stanley Cup. Spencer, who do you have?
I do pick Toronto. If they can get some good, solid goaltending, they are so nasty. That roster, top to bottom, is so sick. They can score. They can punch you in the face. They can run you through the boards. I think they can defend this year, but can someone stop the puck? Yep. That's what's got to be happening there.
Yep. All right. Spencer's got Toronto. Wow. All right. There it is.
It scares me to say it. Because I also hate the Stanley Cup going north. So I also hate that. But
a fucking travesty that they changed the goal song from Hall & Oates to Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi. What the fuck is that?
Maybe that's what they needed to get over the hump.
Have you heard it? It's so quiet when they score goals now. It goes, I'm on the pursuit. It's so dumb.
Oh, it's not like the techno version?
It
They need
is,
the
but
techno version.
It
The
is,
Steve
but it's like
Aoki version.
It is, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. To me. It just doesn't go. It doesn't work.
I need to
doesn't
see
work.
it, and then I'll weigh my opinion on it. But I think they did need to change the goal song. Maybe it's a poor choice.
Not to that.
I think something
Not to
needed.
that.
Yes, I think something needed to change.
Not to that. I still am a fan of "You Making My Dreams Come True." Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mason's hard. Mason, who do you have winning the cup? Don't roll your eyes, Spencer.
I picked Carolina.
For shame.
Carolina. I see. That's one I had. I don't know. Goaltending for them. It's goaltending for them.
Yeah, but that's how it is for every team that's really good right now. Is like
Not
they're
Dallas.
really good. They're really good forwards or defense. There's not that many teams that have like the goalie.
Tampa has the goalie.
Who?
I would say Dallas has the goalie. I would say the Rangers
Needs
have
to show
the
up
goalie.
again.
Yeah.
Needs to show up again.
I know. Oh, I know.
But that's the thing is they're all up there. But I think the other teams that are going to keep the puck away from their not as good goalie, which I think Carolina is that team. I think Carolina's going to.
They are deep.
Probably dominate most teams they play and not play in their own zone all that often. So
yeah,
I think
they are deep inside.
I think they're just deep. I think they're going to be gritty. I think there's a lot going on for them.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that's there we go. There's our playoff predictions. There is our Stanley Cup predictions. We really got to wrap this up because I got to go coach. Is there anything else we're missing?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, I am just going to go ahead and say it last to end the podcast here. I think I speak for all three of us when I say that the Flowscape podcast does stand with Israel and what's going on over there. We do not support terrorism or genocide or discrimination or racism of any kind. And what's happening over there is absolutely terrible. And I speak from a place of living there, having been there, spent a significant amount of my last 2 summers there. The street where my apartment is on was hit by a rocket. There's damage to the street that I live on and lived on and love and walk around and go to coffee shops. And there are people that I have been acquainted with and have met and have seen that are dead or are missing. And there are people that I know were teammates with, played against, that are currently on the front lines and are about to go and fight a war. So the Flowscape podcast and myself, and I think all three of us, I can speak for all three of us when I say we are with you, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody who lost anybody over there in that horrific tragedy, and who continue to lose anybody over there, and that goes for all innocent civilians. I just wanted to address that and say that. The Flowscape podcast is here for the Jewish community. We are there for you. So I can't say anything more than that. So I think that's a good place to end it. Boys, good episode. Great episode. I love you guys. We will see you in a little bit. Flowscape podcast, baby. We are out. Ow.
Yeah.